And now on to this week's Art Talk with Sarah about the legendary pioneer surrealist photographer, Man Ray. Some of you may not be familiar or have heard of him before, but it's a really interesting artist. And for those of you who are local or visiting the Los Angeles area, the Getty Research Institute at the incredible Getty Museum actually has an extensive collection related to Man Ray, including his personal date book, all of his correspondence with writers like T.S. Eliot, James Joyce, Virginia Woolf, and of course, an archive of all of his photographs.
Hey, AJ, how does Man Ray start his morning?
Don't know, Jacques?
With a bowl of cereal.
Okay. So this is how this town hall is going to go. Okay. Hey, Sarah, help me if you can.
Good morning, everyone. That was a good joke, Jacques. Good one. All right. So Man Ray, or born as Emmanuel Radnitzky, was born in 1890 to a Russian Jewish immigrant family in Philadelphia. His tailor father and seamstress mother soon relocated the family to the Williamsburg neighborhood of Brooklyn, New York, where Ray spent most of his childhood. And his family changed their surname to Ray due to fear of anti-Semitism. And his name evolved into Man Ray after shortening his nickname Manny to Man. In high school, Ray learned freehand drawing, drafting, and other basic techniques of architecture and engineering. And after graduating high school in 1908, he actually turned down a scholarship to study architecture and began pursuing his career as an artist. He worked in Manhattan and later moved to the Montparnasse neighborhood of Paris, where he spent time with James Joyce, Gertrude Stein, and other creatives of the era. And he experimented with a variety of media, but is most known for his photography. Actually, while he was trying to develop his photographs in the darkroom, Ray accidentally discovered a technique called shadowgraph or photogram, which is a process also known as cameraless photography using light-sensitive paper. And he dubbed this style rayograph. So looking almost like a film still, this cropped photograph demonstrates Man Ray's interest in cinematic narrative. The model's eyes and the mascara-coated lashes are looking upward, kind of invoking the viewers to wonder where she's looking and what her source of distress is. And this piece was created soon after the artist's breakup with his assistant and lover, Lee Miller. The image was first published in the surrealist magazine called Minotaur and now resides at the Getty Museum in Los Angeles. Here's a photograph called Le Baiser, which translates to the kiss. And again, there's this cinematic quality to Ray's work. The extreme close-up image alludes to his fascination with the melodramatic. And it has similarities to Glass Tears, where we have this woman staring off into the distance, seemingly. Noir et Blanche, or black and white, is famous model nightclub. And she helped define the liberal culture in Paris at the time. The photograph is of her head next to an African ceremonial mask. And the piece bears a title that references both the black and white process of photography as of interest. Faces of the two almost look identical in their serene expressions, but he contrasts her soft, pale face with the shiny black mask. And identifies the conflict to just a problem and imagery and aesthetics. One oval next to another oval. One lit from above and the other from the side. So this picture really, speaks to what's more than just seen. This is one of Man Ray's earliest rayograms, of which objects are laid directly onto a photosensitive. He transferred the silhouette of a pair of hands to the photographic paper and then repeated the procedure with a pair of heads. Rayograms gave Man Ray an opportunity to be in direct contact with his work and react to his creations immediately by adding one layer upon the next layer. He used inanimate objects as well as his own body to create his earlier pictures. And the pictures sometimes have an autobiographical quality, with many of his photographs portraying his lovers. This is one of Man Ray's more iconic pieces, Observatory Time, The Lovers, or as it's become more familiarly known, The Lips. And it's been described as the quintessential surrealist painting. It's an example of isomorphism, which is the use of organic forms referring to man in a kind of illusion. So the canvas is 8 feet long and over 3 feet high. So it's really big. And it took Man Ray over 2 years of meticulous work daily to get it right. The lips are of his ex-lover, Lee Miller. And in a way, it kind of symbolizes that she's gone and kind of flown away, just as the lips seem to be doing in the painting. And another fun fact about this piece is that it was the inspiration for the lips in the Rocky Horror Picture Show. So if you're familiar with the film version, it's the lips in the opening sequence. So I love that. I love that film. Ray again used Kiki de Montparnasse in the violin of Ingres, wearing a turban as a model for this piece. He transformed the female body into a musical instrument by painting sound holes on her back, playing with the idea of objectification of an animate object. Throughout his career, Man Ray was fascinated with juxtaposing an object with a female body, which I can't decide if I personally love or hate, but Man Ray was inspired by the surrealist artist Jean-Auguste Dominique Ingres. Ingres' works were admired by many surrealist artists, including Ray, for his representation of distorted female figures. Ingres' well-known passion for the violin created the colloquialism in French, violon d'Ingres, which means a hobby. So many describe Le Violon d'Ingres as a visual pun depicting his muse, Kiki, as Ray's violon d'Ingres. So she's represented as a violin, but it's also seen as she is a hobby of Ray's because they work together so often. Here are 2 of Ray's oil paintings from 1914, Five Figures and Departure of Summer. After high school, Man Ray studied in Brooklyn with European influence teacher Max Weber. And if we think about what kind of art was coming from Europe at the time, it was the Cubists and the Fauvists. And so both of these pieces really showed that inspiration. Specifically, Departure of Summer resembles some of Matisse's work, and Five Figures is often compared to Picasso's Demoiselle d'Avignon. La Nuit de Saint-Jean-de-Luz is a lithograph from 1968. And Saint-Jean-de-Luz is a small beach town in the Basque region of France, just north of the Spanish border. And again, we can see Ray's isomorphic aspect, with the human figure displayed in the center of the piece, with this abstract representation of the sand and the ocean and the sky. And as well, we can see the vibrant colors of this piece, which show another Fauvist characteristic. So here's a selection of books that feature Man Ray's works. I know he also published an autobiography in 1963, just a few years before his death. But it's clear that Man Ray has had a long-standing influence both in photography and in pop culture. In 1974, Man Ray received the Royal Photographic Society's Progress Medal and Honorary Fellowship. And he's also been named one of the 25 most influential artists of the 20th century. So there's a little intro to him. And thanks, everyone.
Hey, Sarah, that was fantastic. You know, what I really enjoyed is the fact that you integrated into your presentation so many of the artists, several artists that we've already reviewed in the past. That was incredible. So I got a question for you.
Yes. So
how many surrealists does it take to change a light bulb?
Oh, let me think. I don't know how many.
None. That's realism.
Yay.
I know.
I don't know what to say to that one.
It's great. It's great.
Oh, Jacques. All right. Hey, thank you, Sarah. That was a wonderful presentation.